Is This Kosher? By Bobby Grace. What you writing today, Bobby? Dave asked as his lancha glided up to my muela. Muela is what they call a dock here. Wasn't expecting a quiz, I said. Wasn't expecting this either, I'll bet, Dave said, producing a rum and tonic like the ace of diamonds from a deck of cards and offering it to me. Mucho gracias, hermano, I said. A hurricane had been spanking Nicaragua and Honduras, and it had been blowing and storming off and on here for several days. The water was high and brown with wash. A cold, damp wind blew from the northwest, but not hard enough to part the gray clouds. The amber prism of the well-mixed rum and tonic, along with Dave's impromptu visit, promised to bring some sunshine to the overcast day. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing today, I said, recognized what an accidental slow-pitch straight line that was, waited. His face worked its way through a couple of positions. I'll just smile bigly and let that one slide, Dave said, working in a Trumpism. Maybe bask in the tumescence of my magnanimity for a moment or two. Hear who won the U.S. election, I said. Manchester United, I think, Dave said. Which one is blue again? Apart from a few hippies who insisted on telling everybody they should feel guilty about this or fearful about that, and a couple of loud American wannabe revolutionaries, we had managed to avoid the noise and fury of that particular chimpanzee carnival. Word will probably make it down the river in a few days, I said. In time for the lawsuits and conspiracy theorists, I hope, Dave said. Something to look forward to, I said. The power had gone out on both ends of the river a couple of days before and was not expected back for a couple of days more. Cell phone comms, sketchy on the best days, were non-existent. Stack that on top of not giving too much of a shit, we figured the word would get here soon enough and would have the added color of passing through a few different languages by the time it did. Clarence Gatemouth Brown and his band commenced to playing the hell out of Chicken Shift. The breeze had stopped, and the surface of the lagoon reflected a few clouds not paying attention and accidentally letting some sunshine slip through. We grooved along with Clarence and the band for a while. So what are you working on? Dave said. Dave can be relentless. I looked down at the morning's labor, shook my head and read, What if Jesus had ridden into Jerusalem on a pickle? Huh, Dave said. Working a pickle riding Jesus into a story's got to have its challenges. Yeah, probably won't use it, I said. I mean, really, a pickle riding Jesus? Maybe put him on a salami? Have Jesus ride into Jerusalem on a kosher salami, Dave said. Salami has more curb appeal. I mulled it over for a couple of beats, sipped my rum and tonic, enjoyed the freshly blossoming sunshine for a bit. A salami riding Jesus, I said. Might work. Maybe have him serve sandwiches at the Sermon on the Mount? Well, Jesus did say, Blessed are the meats, for they shall inherit the earth, Dave said. Seems like something he would say, I said. Turn some water into wine and he'd have himself a whole goddamn picnic on the Mount, Dave said. Maybe he decides to open a deli cart and avoids the whole crucifixion ordeal. A refrigerator floated by. Not a thing a guy would expect to see in the middle of the jungle. It bobbed its way leisurely out to the cut. We watched it for a while, drank a little. Didn't even know those things could float, Dave said after the refrigerator had bobbed its way through the cut and out to the river proper. So screw the pickle. A pickle riding Jesus is crazy anyway. We put him on a salami. Jesus rides into Jerusalem on a salami, knocks off all that healing and raising dead, I said. Throw him the occasional blind man or crippled kid for him to fix up, Dave said. Wouldn't blow his cover. Folks would just think it was the curative properties of salami. Best deli in town, kosher salami, approved by God himself and certified by the World Health Organization to make blind men see and crippled kids walk, I said. I think Jesus would have a better chance of ducking martyrdom if he was serving sandwiches. People are going to take sides over stuff like raising the dead, but everybody enjoys a good sandwich, Dave said. We've got Jesus one salami away from joining the Jerusalem Chamber of Commerce, I said, where he becomes a moderately successful but slightly balding Jewish businessman, marries Mary Magdalene, who gains several pounds over the years, but still retains her beauty, and together they raise plump, circumcised children, Dave said, and we avoid the whole Christian debacle altogether. I don't know, dude, I said. Having Jesus ride various meats and vegetables into Jerusalem seems like a pretty thin plot device to me. Maybe we write in some deli cheese for the apostles, Dave said. Nah, I said. This story seems cheesy enough as it is.